Breathe, darling.
This is just a chapter, not your whole story.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cheers to the Next Chapter. I am Katie.
I'm Jessica.
I'm Brittany.
And thank you all so much for joining us today. Today we are going to talk about moms. So recently it was Mother's Day. And so we just got to thinking and talking when we were thinking of different topics to discuss on this podcast. Let's highlight moms. And we wanted to talk about all the variety of ways that there are to be a mom. This episode, we hope that you could hear our experiences and find validation in yours, as well as take a moment to be grateful for, all the different types of moms in your life. So, yeah, when I say the word mom, what sweet face makes you a mom, Brittany?
That would be my daughter, Aaliyah. Leah is 2, almost 3 on July 4th. She is sassy and very independent. We like to say she has the attitude of me and the temper of her dad, which has started to show it's getting really bad.
Oh gosh.
I've never seen a tantrum thrown the way she threw the other night.
Really?
No. Oh, it's bad. Like, you almost want to, and I'm sure, tons of people can relate, you almost want to laugh because it's kind of hilarious that they're acting that way, but you, don't want them to know you're laughing.
Then they'll keep doing it.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, she thinks this is funny. Yeah. But, goodness. Yeah, but, I don't know, she's my best little friend, and we have so much fun together, and now that she's more independent and we have conversations, the things that come out of her mouth are very smart, actually. Sometimes I don't know how she learns what she does. I also sometimes don't know where she gets what she gets or how she says it, because TMI probably, but since Leah and I are both girls, the other day, I was changing in front of her before we went to leave somewhere, and she's like, Mommy, can I touch your boobs? And I was like, what?
You were like, I'm the used to feed you, yes.
I know. And she's like, Mommy, can I swing your boobs? And I'm just like, where'd you learn that? Who says that in the world? Because that's not something I do, and nothing that she's ever seen before. But, so she really just has a huge fascination with her boob area right now. I guess she's just learning all her body parts. So she also always, literally almost every day, she tells me, Mommy, I have itty bitty boobies. One day I'm going to have really big boobies. And I'm like, yes, child, you probably will.
Probably will.
Yeah. So along with, I guess, all the fun moments and laughs and our bonding time that we've had this year, I've definitely learned so much about myself and challenges that I've had to overcome and face, because I don't have the partner there to pass her off and escape to. Yes, I live with my parents, but that's not something that I expect my parents to do. I don't expect them to discipline Aaliyah. I don't expect them to take a step in when she's acting bad or if she won't listen to me. That's just not something that I want them to have to do, because they're supposed to be the fun parent, grandparent, or nan and papa, or whatever. Right. So I, along the lines, have learned patience. I thought I had patience, and I realized that in moments I really don't have any patience at all. And some days it's harder than others to remain calm. Sometimes, I'll probably say things I shouldn't say, Aaliyah, you're making Mommy very angry at the moment. I mean, maybe that's okay to say, but I'll also, I don't know. I don't feel like my mom ever said, Brittany, you're making me really angry right now. So.
But I think it's also important to talk about emotions, because she's experiencing all kinds of emotions, and probably, she definitely doesn't always know how to let them out. So,
100%,
at least telling her what emotions you're feeling.
Yeah.
So she can kind of like maybe make that connection.
That's very true. I mean, I think, like you said, it's good for them to know their emotions, and I don't want her to feel like I'm angry at her all the time. So
no,
Right.
yeah,
I try not to say it often, but sometimes it happens just because I need a breath. I can't walk out of the room and come back, or like walk out of the room, send Daddy in, and he can take over and we'll move on. So I don't have that tag parent right now. So it'll be nice when Will does get back, because even though I probably can handle it at this point, like I did it in the beginning, I think it's going to be more of a transition for him to handle it now. We're just going to be switching roles. So I'm going to be coaching him through.
yeah.
But I just want everyone to know that in the moments of like weakness, or like when you feel like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, or maybe you're failing at being a mom, that you are 100% not, because they're not going to remember me putting her in timeout. Hopefully she's not going to remember the maybe one cuss word I've said in front of her. Hopefully not. But I think that more she's going to remember all the time that I've spent with her, and all the stuff that we do together, and all the bonding that we do, and painting nails and playing outside and planting flowers and stuff like that. I think that is going to be their takeaway, because I know that's what I took away from my childhood. It's just all the things that we did together as a family, and maybe trips that we take in, or traditions that we had during holidays, and recipes that your mom shared with you that you hopefully to share with your Aaliyah or your child or whoever. So I think that is my takeaway of this, is remember that even in the moment that you feel like you're failing, you're not.
I like that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, because I've had many of those moments this year.
I actually saw a girl that I follow. She had a post the other day, and it was a really sweet picture of her and her youngest son. I think she's a mom of 3 boys. But it said it's funny, or maybe it said it's ironic. Something about how kids are the ones that can make you lose your ever-loving mind, but they're also the ones who like make you keep it all together.
Literally.
Like,
that makes so much sense, because I think I would have like broke down way more times this year if it wasn't for Aaliyah, because that's like, she's 2 and I have to be strong for her. Like, I can't, if mommy's upset, I can't cry in front of her, because then she's going to be upset and wonder what's wrong with mommy. And so I learned how to be stronger for her, which in turn made me stronger. And I think not more independent, because I'm very independent, but I think in a way more independent. So overall, the experience of Will being deployed has taught me a lot of things about being a mom, and a lot of things about being myself. And you, like we talked about before, is just having grace with yourself and in any moment. So, but they are little blessings and little miracles. I'm ready for number 2.
Yay!
Yeah. I know Aaliyah's ready too.
Oh, 100%. She thinks she's getting a brother and a sister. I'm like, no, you're going to get one or the other.
Would she be okay with either? Because I know she was upset when her aunt and uncle were having a boy instead of a girl.
I think she's coming around because Brantley is a boy, and so now she thinks like, she's like, I'm going to have a brother. She's, Mommy, you're going to carry the brother, and I'm going to carry the sister, and Daddy's going to carry the unicorn. I'm like, yes, Daddy's going to carry the unicorn.
That is so funny.
That's amazing. It's amazing to see how their minds work.
I know. It really is.
I got to go see their house that they're building, Brittany and Will's, and Aaliyah was the one that gave me the tour. And when we got to the spare bedroom, which will be the nursery, she said, this is going to be my brother's room. Or she said, this is baby brother's room. And I looked at Brittany because I was like, brother? Because you
got something to tell me?
Well, not that, but like, you know how she was when...
she wanted a sister.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And then she was not happy about Brantley being a boy until now, of course. But yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
that
Oh,
first
yeah.
initial gender
Very
reveal was
That
so
was so
sad.
Yeah.
It was funny, but sad.
Most time when she gives it to her, she usually says brother and sister room. So
Yeah. It was cute,
Maybe
though.
twins.
I could not. I envy all the twin moms, okay, because I have seen it. No, I don't think I could. That's a lot.
That would be a lot.
Like, I was talking to, like, Jessica and a couple of our friends this week, and I was like, when I have another child, Aaliyah's still going to go to school while I have the other child. Like,
Right.
we're not both going to be at the home at the same time.
Right.
Like, we will at night times, but it's going to be good
Yeah.
for Aaliyah to, like, still get out and do her thing and keep her routine. But those mommies with the twins, you're the real superheroes. Or triplets.
Superheroes.
I don't know,
Literally.
Ashley and Dustin. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. My cousin, she has twins too. Twin boys. They're in kindergarten. And listening to my aunt talk about how homeschooling has been for the kindergartners,
Mm.
Yeah.
it sounds like a complete disaster. Because she'll be like, okay, now write your names on here. And then they're like, I don't want to write my name. And she's like, I said write your name. And then one will goof off, and I get the other one goofing off. And
Because they think of you as a
Sounds like
parent,
lose
not
my
their
mind.
teacher. So they don't have to keep that same routine that they do in school.
yeah.
Yeah. I've tried to circle time many times with Leah. Sit down here and look at numbers. No. No, mommy.
Oh gosh.
So, well, Jessica, let's take this over to you. And what sweet face makes you a mommy?
Well, you all have seen him many, many times if you follow us on Instagram. And every now and then he likes to pop in here on these videos.
Yes,
would
he's been in a
be-
few.
That would be Mr. Finn. I say that. No, he's probably going to run over here. So that's my dog. He is a little over a year old. We actually got him on National Puppy Day, which is end of March. Now I'm like blanking on the actual day. But he turned a year old on January 10th. So,
J.
and of course, do what?
I said it's still a J month.
Exactly.
Yeah, you
I
were
was saying-
close.
I know. I don't know why I like wanted to go say July. Probably because you just said Aaliyah's was July 4th. I don't know. Who knows? But he is an Irish doodle, so a lot of people just automatically assume he's a golden doodle because most doodles just kind of all look the same. But he is part Irish setter, and he is the sweetest baby ever. I call myself a dog mom all the time. Like, I always say that. And sometimes I almost feel silly saying that because I don't want people to think that I'm comparing being a dog mom to being like you and Aaliyah, like a mom, because I don't know. I think some people get offended by that or think, oh, she thinks that having a dog is the same as having a baby, but having a baby is so much harder. I can tell you, puppy phase is still hard. I'm not comparing the two, but it's definitely not a walk in the park. That's for sure. We spent many, many, many nights not sleeping in the beginning because all he did was bark. And that was during the whole crate training thing. And yes, like, I guess like you probably did the whole cry it out thing with Aaliyah. I don't know. Did you do that? You did.
That's really hard because I don't feel like she's always been a really good sleeper. So, like, maybe we did a cry out method 2 nights.
Yeah.
But I really didn't have any problems with her sleeping. She's always been so good up until recently.
Yeah.
She's still kind of
I was
good,
gonna
but
say,
I mean,
I'm
she
sure
had her
it's-
moment.
Well, I feel like it would definitely be harder to do like a cry it out than a bark it out, because even though I do feel that like motherly bond, not bond, I don't know. Like, I love him so much.
It's a bond.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
a bond. And even though, like, I obviously did not birth him. I feel like I'm his mom. And I think it's important to still recognize that, I mean, we have a role, like Katie said, we're validating all types of moms here. But I'm definitely that dog mom. I did all of the monthly.
I'll validate you, Jessica, because when I watched Finn that one time, it was much easier to have a Leon Finn. So, I'll have a whole daycare before I have a whole litter of puppies or a puppy.
Well, he's definitely much easier now. If you were to babysit him now, you'd be like, well, I don't know. He does get a little bit more wound up around small kids. I think because they're so high energy that he feeds on that, and he's like,
well, I think it's just because like they're right at his level.
That too.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, what's this tiny person? This looks fun.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's definitely way easier now, and so snuggly. Like whenever he was a puppy, he just had all the things to do. Now it's so funny. Like anytime I go to sit on the couch, he will go grab his bone and then hop up on the couch with me. Doesn't matter, like whatever he was doing, like he'll be laying on the ground, but as soon as I sit down, he's like, nope, we gotta snuggle now. So that's sweet.
Aww.
And
yeah, you probably get more snuggles than I do.
aww.
That's what the best thing is about a dog, though, really. Like, even, like, I have a cat and love my cat, but, like, they just will not, cats don't follow you around like dogs do. They don't snuggle, usually, like dogs do. They don't get a, you know, dogs usually don't have a little attitude. They might frustrate you because they, you know, shoot up a box of crayons or something, but, you know, it's like, here's my famous joke I tell. I guess it's a joke. Put your, and I'm not gonna be able to remember it. Put your husband or wife or partner in a trunk and put your dog in the trunk with them. Leave them in there for several hours. Who's going to be happy when you open up the trunk?
Oh,
the dog.
The dog.
100%
no matter what.
the dog. Oh, that's hilarious. I've never heard that one. He does have an attitude.
Your spouse be ready to murder you.
Right,
Yeah,
and probably maybe divorce you. Like, goodbye. That was ridiculous. And the dog would be like, I love you. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. You'll be gone for 5 minutes, and they think that you've been gone all day long. It's like, you know, they just have no sense of time at all. Yeah. He does have an attitude, though. Like, and I feel like the attitude is coming out more now that I'm working from home, like, because of the whole COVID situation. But I think because I spend not all my time, but so much time on the computer and not giving him attention, he's like, hello, you're home. You need to be giving me attention. So he comes up and like takes his nose and flings my arm or my hand off of my keyboard and like.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, he has a little attitude. When he wants something, he like demands it. But
working from home is hard when you have a dog or a child, and which is why I see why like work from home mothers that do like these big companies or fathers, they actually hire a nanny too. And people criticize them like, hey, why do you have a nanny when you're working from home? You ain't getting shit done if you have a child and you're working from home. Because I wake up 3 hours early to do emails. I do emails during Aaliyah's quiet time now, and then I do emails when she goes to bed for 3 hours. That way, my boss can't say anything to me for not getting my 10 hours in. Because I don't know what you expect.
How else could you do it? Yeah.
Yeah,
I take a phone call here and then, but I have a 2-year-old that needs way more attention. I don't know. So.
Well, and you're not supposed to be getting in 10 hours. You don't get 10 hours in the office. It's an 8 working hours, you know, a 9-hour day with an hour break.
But that just highlights more pressure that you feel at home too. So those work from home moms or dads feel that pressure, you know, times 100 compared to working in the office. You feel like you have to do more.
Oh yeah, like when I get a phone call at 7:30, which is definitely after hours, you feel like you have to answer it still. And then when they're like, can I get a quote? You feel like you can't say, oh, well, I'll send it to you tomorrow morning when they know your computer's right in front of you. So why can't you do it right now? You know? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. I felt the exact same when I've been like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any more openings tonight, but I can see you tomorrow. And I'm like, I'm sure they're sitting there thinking in their head, like, what do you mean you don't have any openings? What are you doing? You're not supposed to be going anywhere. You're not supposed to be, out and about. Aren't you at home? Like, see me. But that's a good boundary. We still have to have a schedule. We still have to have family time. You have to have that time with your daughter, with your dog, with the ones that are important to you,
For
so
sure.
yeah. Jessica, I liked what Brittany said earlier, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. What have you learned from being a dog mom? She said one thing she learned this year, at least, from being a mom. Okay,
definitely patience as well. Like today, for instance, he was extra needy. I'm not really sure why. I don't know. I think dogs have their own personalities and moods too, and who knows? Maybe he just wasn't feeling well, but he's been so needy today. And every single time, I would get on a phone call or start a meeting like this, because we have Zooms at work. So anytime I would start one, that's when he jumps up in my lap and I'm like, please just go do your own thing. So patience for sure. But also, I don't think Brittany really touched on this, but guilt. So I never really understood this before, because Finn is he's not my first pet. I always had family pets growing up, but he's my first, my pet, where it's not my parents' dog.
Your full responsibility.
Right. And so before, I never really, it's not that I didn't understand, oh, well, you can't always go out and do things because people say, I need to get home to the dog. And you're like, well, it's just a dog. They'll be okay. Did you let him out? And that's where now I say that all the time. I don't like to do things obviously it's a little bit different at the moment, but normally during the week, I don't like to have stuff after work all the time, because I feel extremely guilty when he's been all by himself for 10 hours a day. And then to not come home and spend time with him, I definitely feel that guilt. And then even on the weekends, I don't want a full packed weekend all the time, because it's he knows that's his time where I get to hang out with you all day, So I definitely feel the guilt. Now, I'm not going to let that completely dictate my life. I still want to see friends and go out and do things, but I just try to plan it a little bit better than before. I would, I didn't have any responsibility. So if you called me and said, hey, do you want to go get drinks, or do you want to go to dinner? It was always, yeah, sure. And now, I just had to be a little bit more aware of things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, Katie, what makes what sweet face makes you a mom, or faces, actually?
Faces. So I'm a nanny mom. I never know what to call myself. I've been watching these two little kids. Well, the little girl, I've been watching her since she was 3 months old, and now she's 3, going on 4 in November. So that's pretty crazy to me to think about. And then the little boy will be turning 1 this weekend, and I've been watching him since he was about 3 months old. So yeah, so I never know what to call myself, a nanny or a babysitter. I feel like it's a mix of both. I feel like a babysitter kind of sounds like
babysitter.
I know, it sounds like juvenile, like I'm 15 or something.
Yeah, not even that. I feel like a babysitter's for a couple hours every now and then,
day
right
or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. I never really quite thought about it like that. I mostly just thought of it as something a 16-year-old does, which is just a couple hours a night. But yeah, I don't know why I didn't feel like a nanny. I guess because I don't live with them, but sometimes it does feel like I'm close to that, or at least it did for a while, because I'm there a long time. So their parents have a schedule to where they have to leave really early. Well, the mom works 3rd shift, and then the dad has to leave really early in the morning. So I get up at 4:30 in the morning whenever I babysit. I mean, nanny. I don't know. And then I'm there until 2:30, sometimes 3:30. They're great about working with me though, because sometimes I'll have clients, I'll have to leave early. And luckily their schedules just work out that way. So it's something that's worked out really well. And it's been a very interesting and very rewarding experience. It's been really great. It's been awesome to have the time. And now that it seems like it might be like slowly maybe coming to an end, I'm transitioning to full-time work eventually. And it's like really kind of makes me cry every time I think about it, that I won't see them as much as I do now. And even now it's cut down a little bit because their dad, took off an extra day to help me out, be able to take, an extra day at my job. So, yeah, it's been really, really great. And I think from that experience, I've learned a lot of things. Patience, definitely one of them. Today was kind of a difficult day. They were both just like very needy and wanted to be clingy. And I thought to myself, I know someday I'll miss this, and I'll be like at their high school graduation and I'll be like, oh, I wish I could pick them up. But today I was like, but could you just give me a minute, please? So you got to learn the patience. And but it's been so neat to just have that connection with a child. It's obviously the closest I've come yet to having my own human child. And it's been really special. I don't know how else to really describe it. It's sometimes I feel bad saying like, oh, I feel like a mom, or like when my friends are talking about their kids and their experiences, and then I kind of chime in with like, oh yeah, breastfeeding this, or oh yeah, nap time this, or helping them do this. Like I feel kind of like what you said, Jessica, like I don't want people to think like, oh, does she think she's a mom because she didn't have those kids? I don't want people to think that, but I know the people, the family I'm talking about, they view me as like an important part of their family also. So that makes it feel good too. It's not like I'm just like a hired staff for the weekend and they don't care if I come or go. It's like been an important thing. So
And
yeah.
you'll always be an important role in their life. Like you're not going away, like you said. You're always going to be there.
Yeah, that's been the cool thing about it. I mean, I hope that I always am, definitely. That's the interesting thing about it. It's not like I just picked up this gig, on the side because I needed money. This was like a very good friend who, needed some help. And so it worked out that way. Actually, Brittany was at the dinner where it worked out. So where it all formed.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I hope that I'm always a really big part of their lives. And
I think you've also been like a part of their lives, like when it really matters too. Like I feel like a child's mind like molds so much in like those first couple years, and like they take away like a child can be traumatized when they're so young. And it's so crazy to me that something like so small or so insignificant that you think really did impact that child. So like
yeah,
I think you've have given them so many like great moments, and I know that you're not just Katie to them. Like you have your own name. So I don't know.
I'm Katie.
Cry over here because like it's crazy just thinking about like those moments that a child is going to take away with them. So
yeah, no, thank you for saying that, because it's helping me remember too, like why I've done this for so long why I've stayed with them for so long is obviously because I love them. I care about them. I love my friends that whose kids they are. But it's also because it's been a good balance for me in my job, because I do work with a lot of those kids that are very traumatized, and I work with a lot of backgrounds of, very dysfunctional families and a lot of like just heartache. And so it's been a great balance to see, to be with kids who haven't had to see that. They've been blessed and privileged enough that they grow up and, have grown up differently. And to be part of that has been great too, because what I've learned in school was that attachment is so important. You know, a child's first attachment is often their mom, and then their dad, or, you know, the other kids, and then it's the other significant caretakers. And those roles of attachment are vital. I mean, they're vital for children to succeed, to know that, you know, they've had a healthy attachment with their caretakers, you know, whether that be grandparents, aunts, uncles, nannies, you know, moms, dads, all of those. So yeah, it's been really cool. I feel like I want to say more about it, but I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
So what about you? What has one thing that has challenged you, or something that you've learned along this experience that, I don't know, that maybe has come out different or better, like made you a better person?
Okay. So challenging has probably been, trying to maybe find like a middle ground. And like I said, you know, they've made me feel part of the family, but I also know like that I don't want to step on any toes either. So challenging has been, you know, I don't want to cross any boundaries with them. You know, if they have a boundary about discipline with their children, or a boundary about, you know, something like that. Although, you know, now that I say that, I've probably crossed that line, because not with discipline, but, you know, I'm going to make sure that the kids I know and love are very, like, you know, open-minded, maybe liberal. And so, you know, that might not be, you know, I might be a little bit more liberal than most. I probably am. So maybe that hasn't been so welcomed, but, you know, it'll be good that the kids have a good balance of all of it. So
what about like the boundary of like wanting to like make sure like they listen and discipline, but also like be the fun Katie? Like, is that hard?
Yeah. Yes,
like, that's been hard.
Yeah, that's been really hard, because I can't just be like the fun, like an aunt figure, or the fun, just fun friend of my parent, a friend of my mom, you know, because I'm with them for, you know, 9-10 hours a day. So it's, you know, I can't just let them run around. I've tried really hard to try to kind of have a schedule for them, or routine. I've tried to teach them things. You know, I always wanted to be sure that I was talking to them a lot. You know, I didn't just like plop them in front of the TV and not really care. I'm getting my paycheck, woohoo, you know. So so yeah, that's definitely been a challenge. But I think it's kind of funny, because they listen to me, but they also kind of know, like, oh, that's just Dadey. Like, they don't take me too seriously. So hopefully it's been a good boundary. Like, hopefully they've learned a little bit, like, so when they do transition into daycare, or maybe a different caretaker role, that they've learned like respect, and, you know, how to listen. I think they have those traits. You know, they're really good kids. So
Oh
yeah. So yeah, but that's definitely been difficult, because like every morning Reese will be like, can I have candy? And I'm like, no, we don't have candy for breakfast. But then some mornings I'm like, all right, let's have a little candy, you know. It's like
but
I'm sure kind of like
she went to bed and didn't wake up in the middle of the night and like act like a big girl, that she woke up, she could have ice cream for breakfast.
Yeah.
And she told me, she said, I don't want ice cream for breakfast. I was like, what? Work with me here.
Right. Gosh. Yeah. That's too funny. So I don't remember what else I said. So yeah, those are the challenges. I guess I should say what I've learned. So what I've learned, I think what I've learned is like some things that I knew like on paper, but maybe not like physically or in person. Like, I've learned about connection and attachment. You know, I knew that attachment was important. I had a good family. So I was, you know, I have a good attachment with my parents. I have a good relationship with my siblings, you know, but I never had that attachment or relationship with little kids who I was responsible for, you know, little kids who I love as if they are my own. And so to feel that connection, you know, when you look in their eyes and they look back at you, and it's like just like pure love, you know, that's like a really, really special thing. I might cry thinking about it. So yeah, that's been a really cool thing. And then another thing has been my favorite word and favorite thing ever is empathy. And it's been so cool to see. I knew that empathy is something we're all born with, but to see it from the beginning, to see it from how young they are and how full of empathy and compassion and love they are, and how they see life as, wonderful, and each person as a special, unique person, and they just go into things with, excitement and just pure joy, just jumping on a trampoline, having the time of your life, carefree. I love that. That's been a really cool thing to see too. And to learn.
So one thing that you mentioned that I was going to comment on, but I didn't want to interrupt you, was where you were talking about how sometimes, like today, you said that the kids were a little bit more needy, and you're like, yeah. And so you're talking about how, like sometimes you just kind of want a little bit more space, but you also know that, when they get older, they're not gonna like be all over you like that. They're not gonna need you so much, and you're gonna be so sad that you can't just go pick them up. That is something. So being like a friend aunt, I guess you could say, because I'm not like an aunt right now, because I only have one brother and he doesn't have any kids. But like, I don't know, seeing all of my friends' kids growing up, they grow up so fast, and like you definitely want to soak in all those moments when they are little, like you said, like the attachment thing, because otherwise they're not even going to know you. And I don't know, I like that you said that, because I think that's important. And even like being a pet mom, I know when Finn, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but whenever he was little, I mean, he got big so fast. But whenever he was little, I literally picked him up every single day and held him, because I was like, you're not going to be a tiny puppy forever. And I'm going to be so sad when I can't do that.
Literally,
so,
yeah.
Every single day, at least once a day, like usually in the morning, and when I would get home from work, I'd always pick him up and hug him and cuddle him. And I mean, I've definitely...
What a great way to practice mindfulness, which we can talk about in a different episode. But that's beautiful to like take a moment like that each day to notice and to appreciate, and just like, be present in that moment, saying, you're little, you're mine, I love you.
Yeah. And they do. I mean, dogs definitely get big fast, but babies do too. Like, it's so crazy. I feel like at this moment, I'm definitely the closest with Aaliyah of all my friends' kids. But I've had like close relationships with other friends. One of my friends, her kids call me Kaka because they couldn't say Jessica. And she, even though she's, oh goodness, 8 years, she'll be 8 in August. Wow, that's crazy. She still calls me Kaka, even though obviously now she can say Jessica. So I just think that's sweet. But
that is.
Oh yeah.
But like seeing how much they've grown, but like Aaliyah, just, it's crazy.
Literally.
I feel like you just had her, and she's about to be 3, and it's just, I don't know.
I know.
It's nuts.
I just think about from like comparing videos and like pictures, like I said before, like from when Will first deployed, like how tall she's gotten, like she says, things that she's learned, like it's insane to me. And like, to think about, like, he has been there, but like he hasn't been there for those moments really makes me sad, because it was a big year, and like we didn't think it was going to be a big year. We didn't think like 2 was like a huge year, but goodness gracious, she learned so much, and I don't know how. But I also wanted to touch on that, what you said, Katie, too, about like taking moments and like realizing that they're not going to want to cuddle with you or sit on your lap and stuff like that. And how I have kind of talked about Aaliyah's nighttime routine being really bad lately, I have also, like, which I've never done before, I've never been a co-sleeper mom, but I've let her like sleep in my bed, and I've slept in her bed, because I don't know, like, she's not gonna want that. Like you said, like, she's not gonna want that when she's a
Yeah.
teenager or when she's, like,
Mhm.
grown. So even
Exactly.
though I have never done that before, I definitely try to soak in those moments, even though I'm still trying not to get too, like, make it a habit because I don't want her
Yeah.
sleeping in my bed every night and I don't want to be sleeping in
Mhm.
her bed every night. But I think every once in a while, like, to definitely soak up those moments, you definitely need to do. So,
Mhm.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing. Thank you for saying that, because that's another thing I just thought about that I've learned from this experience is like how to be less judgmental. Like I never really thought I was super judgmental, but I want to take a moment and apologize to all the moms in the past that I probably judged or thought, I'll do different whenever I'm a mom, or I'm not going to do that. And
yeah.
now it's like they're not my blood children, like I said, um but I'm so much more open-minded about stuff. The co-sleeping is one of them. Like I rewind 4 years ago, I would have been like, that's horrible. Oh my gosh, what if you
Hey,
smush
whatever
them,
lets
or
the mom
you
sleep,
know
let her do it.
exactly. And I've co-slept with both of those kids. I mean, there's been so many nights when Reese was little, I mean, or not nights, mornings, but it felt like night, where we would just be like asleep on the couch, and I would tell my boyfriend when I got home, and he'd be like, that's bad, and I'd be like, actually it was very bonding, and she's safe, and I have her, and I know that I do, like,
Yeah.
and I know, I mean, my friend whose kids it is, she knows all that stuff's going on. I'm not doing anything shady,
Right.
but yeah, it's just learning how to do things differently, learning as you go. And I feel like I've kind of learned with them, like, okay, let's try this, let's try that. Or what have you done? What are we doing? What are we trying? So that's been a great experience to just be more open-minded about it all, not be so
Yeah,
harsh on yourself.
that is very true. I mean, that's very true. I mean, like I said, I'm not a co-sleeper, and I've never been, but I also don't judge a mom because she is a co-sleeper, because some babies don't sleep that great. And if you need your sleep and your baby sleeps better with you, put that baby in the bed, because
Right.
as a mom, like, to stay sane, you need sleep. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
another thing to touch on, my dad brought up the other day, like, so I see people say, like, if you can't, like, wearing a mask, he's like, then basically people that are not supporting wear a mask, then why are they, like, supporting make a mom cover up while she's breastfeeding her baby? And he's like, well, what do you think about that? And I'm like, honestly, it's the mom's personal opinion. If she doesn't want to cover up, she doesn't have to cover up. But if she does, then let her cover up. Like, I don't know, like, before, like you said, like, you might have, like, had more of a stronger opinion. For me, I cover up just because I just feel more comfortable. But if you
Right.
don't want to cover up, don't cover up, and don't suffocate your baby if that's how you feel too. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. If that's how you want to do
Yeah.
something as a parent, do it, as long as you're not hurting them. Because
Right.
passing
As
over
long
to me
as
now.
as long as the
Right.
kid is happy and safe and healthy, why, like Katie said, why should anyone else judge or feel like they have the right to judge?
Yeah.
You know? Because
you don't know what's going on unless you're there. The little boy who I watched, his mom, she wouldn't have not been able to feed him covered up. He just will not have it. Like he will be screaming and writhing, so it's like, sorry, I have to feed my child, so I'm not going to be covered up.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, another thing, when you talked about co-sleeping, I always said dogs should not be allowed to sleep with you, because I always loved my sleep, and I was like, I will never let a dog sleep with me. Yeah, that did not last long, because now I'm like, no, I want him to sleep with me, and I love when he snuggles up next to me.
Yes.
Like this morning, actually. Well, I say morning. I don't know what time it was, because I was like, it was in the middle of the night. It was pitch black. But I just like randomly woke up, and he comes in and out. Like, he'll be in the bed and then he leaves the bed and he'll come back. But when I woke up, he was like the little spoon. And so like he got in bed and snuggled up right next to me and had to be touching me. And it was just so sweet. I don't know. So I will never, like Katie said, I won't judge people for how they parent in any way.
Oh yeah.
Whatever they're parenting, whoever they're parenting, no judgment.
Oh yeah, and I'll probably do things differently than my parents did. just from this experience too. You know, I feel like I've learned a lot. Like I'm not going to be quite as nervous to be a mom because I've been around, you know, a brand new newborn baby for so long, so 2 times now, you know, so I of course I have a lot of anxiety, so I will still be nervous, but you know, I feel, you know, more confident, and I know we'll do things differently. My mom said that the other day. Our dog Luke, he's getting old, y'all. He might pass soon, but he wants to sleep with them. And my mom's like, I am not meant to sleep with dogs or young children. And I thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, we never got into bed with our parents. Like if we were scared or we didn't, I'm sure my mom didn't co-sleep, you know, but I wrote back. I was like, well, actually, I don't even think I hit send. I'm bad at that. But I was thinking in my head, I'm like meant to sleep with dogs and like have the little babies co-sleeping. Like I would love that. I'd love to just be, you know, all surrounded, you know, and I would have never thought I'd be like that a few years ago, but from this experience, I am.
Yep.
Yeah.
As you said, like you wouldn't do some things that your parents did, but you probably take away some things that they do. As a mom now, I'm just like, dang, I know why my mom did that. Like, Aaliyah's gonna text me everywhere that she goes. She's gonna text me when she arrives and when not, because otherwise I'm gonna lose my mind and just keep wondering, did she make it? Is she safe? Like, so even though
I can see that.
We definitely, oh yeah. So even things that like, we won't do, like there's definitely things that we thank our parents for doing for us.
Yes.
That we learned. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if we were annoyed when it was happening and we were teenagers.
Yeah.
Oh,
now we're getting it.
Now we understand.
Yeah. Now we understand, and we thank you.
Yes. Thank you to all the moms out there.
All right. And on that note, we have a weekly challenge for you. Weekly challenge is tag us, hopefully with a picture of your sweet face that makes you a mom. We want to see them. We want to see why they are special to you, what they mean to you, maybe something that they have challenged you or something that you've learned along the experience. So you can tag us on our Instagram or Facebook page. You can also email us too if you're not really have a social media account.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, thank you all so much for listening and joining us. We really appreciate all of the support. We'd love for you to follow us on social media. We've got, like Brittany said, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all at Cheers to the Next Chapter. And yeah, we hope you all have a great week. So, cheers.
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 Why am I the only one always drinking?
Hydrate.
Yeah, mine's water.